Okay, hello everybody, good morning. Another great rainy day here in Bakersfield, California. Basically it's another video. I'm going to bust it into three parts. The first part I'm going to go through and talk about the reason, why I'm doing it, the design and the steps that I take in order to get to where I'm going. Of course the steps will be shown in each one of the videos. But this one's just kind of give an overview and to show what I've come up with so far. I have my Brent CXC wheel that I just got last year, and I've been working on it, and I love it. I think it's the greatest wheel I've ever worked on, and the variable speed and all that stuff. Excellent wheel. One problem I am having is the fact that there's not a lot of room in here. You know, you sit down, I think, you know, doing pottery is all about rhythm and spontaneity and being able to do things on the fly, you know, and just stay in the moment and keep going. And I don't want to have to get up and, you know, I got to take everything off the back of the wheel and I got to pop the pan off, go clean it, and come back and then get situated and then start going again. So I went looking on the web. And I was looking for actually a larger splash pan, and they don't make them, which I thought was kind of weird. But anyway, I started researching and digging on the internet. And I always do that because I look for what other potters do and try to either incorporate that into what I do, because I mean there are a lot of great ideas out there from other potters, which makes this whole, you know, pottery trip a really fun thing, because we all collaborate, we share ideas, and it's just kind of an open information kind of thing. So anyway, I was looking on the internet and I came across a couple of websites where they had pictures, not really articles or how to do it or anything like that, but of these mud boxes, which I thought was really cool. It gives you a lot more area, and I'll show you here in a few minutes my basic design idea. Because like I said, there's not really anything out there. Now, that's not to say there isn't. I just didn't come across it on the internet. I've been on the internet for quite a few years, so basically I had to come up with a design. I'm an old CAD drafter, so I broke out my CAD program on my computer and I came out and I took dimensions from the center wheel to, you know, the front and the side, so I wouldn't make it too wide, so I couldn't get my legs around it to get close enough to the wheel to manipulate the clay, and just, you know, took some basic reading, you know, dimensions. And then I came up with this idea, which is nothing more than looking at somebody else's picture on the internet and extrapolating from that what I think will work for me. So I went through and I thought, you know, well, it's got to have a good base, because we're going to have mud and water in it, so it's going to get heavy. So I decided to go with a minimum half-inch thickness on the bottom. Yeah, it's going to be supported. It's basically going to fit around the wheel exactly like this pan does. You notice on the pan there's a cutout here, has a little, you know, to fit up underneath. The one thing I don't like about this design is the fact that when the water gets up above here, it goes into here and then goes in around your bushing and bearing underneath the shaft coming up that holds your wheel head. So not real fond of that one. So that was another reason why to do this, because I know after probably 6-7 years these things can rust out down here, and then you have to press it, and it's just a long drawn out, you know, complicated thing. But anyway, I designed this, and as you notice over here, there's a cutout. And instead of going front ways, it'll actually slide on sideways. And then this piece will be added back in, and it'll be pretty much screwed and bolted down to the table. So the table is going to still provide most of the support. It's going to be, it's just going to be a whole lot better. That's the only way I can describe it. So I went through and I got my designs, and I went in and I used my AutoCAD, and this is what I came up with. I took some 1x6, and I basically only had to buy one 1x6 8-foot long and one 1x6 4 feet long, and that's what you see here. I think it cost me a total of $12, maybe six to 12 bucks. I don't remember the exact price. The plywood, I didn't want to split it down the middle and buy 2 sheets of 2-foot by 4-foot. So I just went ahead and got a regular 4x8 sheet, but I got a good sheet for 20 bucks. So it's not really expensive. So I went through and I was laying it all out. I got it. I actually have a printout of the actual dimensions and the program itself, so I could test whether or not the wheel head's going to fit, and I'm going to have enough more room on the sides between the wheel head and the side of the pan, and it all works fine. I'm always a big fan of testing it someplace where I don't have to spend a lot of money, and then build it. So speaking of which, always measure twice, cut once. I didn't make any mistakes because I'm an old guy, and I've learned that adage very well. But I'm going to go ahead and kind of do a rough assembly here to show you what it's going to look like when it's done. I've already cut the pieces out. I've already sanded and prepped them. I am going to stain them, and I will urethane them. So basically, well, here we go. The front piece, as you can see, I went ahead and chamfered the sides so it meets up with the board itself. The back piece is cut to width. Line that up on the back. Side pieces here, and everything's got rounded corners on it, so it's kind of wobbly at the moment. You know, I didn't want to catch my hand and get slivers in it and whatnot. So this is the piece that'll actually slide in after it's all stained and urethane, and it'll be screwed up from the bottom, and there'll be another strip on the bottom that'll screw to it. So it'll be held, it'll be pancaked in there, and then this will actually be sealed. So, which I will show in a second. Here's another side. And here's where I got a little crazy. As you can tell, these sides got kind of cut at an angle. I kept the angle the same as here, and then brought it down and went to a 90. So when it's put in place, and you know, this will be all pulled tight. When they're put in place, you can see how it creates this illusion across the front, as in it's straight this way, but then it chamfers down and it goes to 90 this way to the actual board itself. But this is basically what it's going to look like when it's done. Now, if you notice here, this is 6 inches. I put it up, test fitted it to the wheel, but the board was too high. So I went ahead and I brought it down by putting this chamfer in it to 4 inches. My wheel head should be sitting right about here. So when it's spinning fast, it's not going to fling the mud out, and yet again I don't have to reach down into the box to get to the wheel head. So anyway, that's my design, my idea. In the following videos I'll show, you know, the staining process and the assembly process, and then in the end, the last video, I'll be going through, and the box itself, after it's stained in urethane, will actually be coated on the inside with truck bed liner. So it'll give it, the rubber will adhere to the urethane, and it'll give it a nice watertight seal. One other thing that I did, as I was telling you before about the water getting up underneath the wheel, I came up with a kind of a cool idea. I went down to Home Depot, shameless plug for Home Depot, and the wheel head on here is 14 inches. So what I did, or what I decided to do, was to take something that's a little bit smaller, okay? The bucket's 12 inches in diameter. I'm going to take and cut the bucket at this rim right here, or higher if I need to, whatever my distance is between here and here, and make a lip, slice it this way, and then it'll go in here and create a splash ring all the way up underneath and close to the wheel head itself, so water can't get in there. Yeah, some moisture's going to get in there, but it's not going to get wet. There's not going to be sitting water in there, and that'll keep, you know, any water from getting down in here, and it'll be epoxy. I'll epoxy it to the varathane and wood, and then when I coat it with the truck bed liner, that'll actually go up the side and create another seal as well. So it should be pretty good, and I shouldn't have to worry about it for a long time. But then again, it will be bolted on, it'll be screwed together, it'll be able to be taken apart. I'll probably have to, if I do take it apart, I'll have to cut the seam here, and this piece will have to come off, this will have to come off, and then the whole thing will slide right off the wheel. And I can build a new one, because I already have the plans for it. So, anyway, hopefully this will help somebody else in their endeavors to create a smoother and more tranquil place to do their pottery and to create their artwork. Everybody have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.